I've covered the Flames since friggin' 2011. Like I've covered to be blunt, I've covered a lot of bad hockey, folks. But the thing with covering a bad team is, if you remember this, so the 2014, the 2013-2014 Flames finished fourth from the bottom in the NHL. And so that's why they that's why they ended up drafting fourth overall and got Sam Bennett and built up their farm system, because they were lousy. And then so they spent the entire offseason reading, blurbs from, let's be honest, assholes like us saying, man, these Calgary Flames are not going to be very good. And here's why we think so. And I think we all had pretty reasonable logic behind why we didn't expect much out of the Calgary Flames in 2014-15. But those players spent their, in between training, in between off ice, on ice workouts, just getting ready for the season, had heard from basically everybody they knew, anyone who read hockey, anytime they turned on something, read the newspaper, whatever, that the Flames weren't going to be very good. So what happened was you had about 30 guys get into the locker room when they made the team, and they were very convinced to just make us all look like idiots. Like they were very motivated. They had a bee in their bonnet. I believe that year the locker room song that they played after every win was Started from the Bottom, because that's how they felt. They felt they already reached rock bottom with how the team could be, and they decided, what, fuck it, we're just going to see if we can prove everyone wrong. And they played with a chip on their shoulder, because when you've already been fourth from last in the NHL, there's nowhere to go but up. And so they played with house money. And granted, a lot of their results were based on really unsustainable percentages, but they still got the results and they put in the work to get the results. And I think that the 14-15 season, the habits and stuff they built that year are some of the things we're still seeing now in the team, where they developed a lot of really good work habits, a lot of good enthusiasm, a lot of structures, those kind of things. And they're still building on some of the same players who were performing that well back then. Case in point, Johnny Gaudreau, who was a rookie that year. They're still building on it today. So Seattle, this is probably going to be Seattle's 13-14 year. This is going to be Seattle's year where they go, man, this is going to be, the toughest year they've ever had to go through. It's, an expansion year that they had to deal with. Seattle's basically been missing, a body or two every week because of COVID. They've been missing guys because of injuries, because of this, because of the other thing. They've dealt with everything in the kitchen sink, and they've managed to persevere. And granted, they're going to get a lot of good draft picks this year, but they also have a ton of cap space and a pretty smart GM and pretty smart hockey operations department and a lot of really smart analytics people. Like they're probably 6 or 7 people deep with smart analytics people. Like
their analytics department, and
them in Vancouver. Them in Vancouver basically hired. If you made a list of the 10
in the Pacific Northwest, you might be a calculator nerd.
Yeah, but if you were putting together a list of the 10 smartest people in working in analytics in the last 15 years, probably at least half of them are working for Seattle and Vancouver at this point, maybe more than half. So good. Anyway, so that's my spiel. The Kraken aren't going to finish high in the standings, but I'm really curious what they do this offseason, and I'm really curious what they do on Saturday, because they're going to be motivated to make the best team in the division look ordinary.